There's now an official release of ASM 5.0 that supports Java 8. But again, we inline that and jar that as well, so you can pick a different version of ASM if you need to. But just things to keep in mind. Some of these things that impact your code, like AspectJ or CGlib or ASM, if they're relying on bytecode analysis, might not work immediately. Moving on to some finer details, so hash map and hash set. There are some differences in the implementation in the JVM. So they have different hash algorithms that are in use. Hopefully it doesn't affect you, but depending on how you write code, it might. So you get different hash iteration order, and you really shouldn't rely on that. You shouldn't have relied on it. But when you upgrade, you might want to make sure you're writing enough tests to see that your code works the way that you hope it would on Java 8. Moving on to Lambda conditions. So we're talking about things like closures in Java. What is a Lambda? Well, we have one simple rule. Basically, it is an interface with a single method. Pretty straightforward. And what is that typically? Typically, that's going to be something like a callback interface. For example, straight from the JVM, you might want to use something like runnable or callable. They both define a single method. And because of that, they used to be called single abstract method types, which I was very fond of because it's my name in all caps. But they decided, so cool. Anyway, if you're searching on the internet, sometimes you see SAM types or single abstract method types. But nowadays, you'll see more talk about functional interfaces. And in fact, in the final version, Java 8, there's a new @functional interface annotation that basically says an interface is actually a functional interface and would be an error if it were if you add an additional method. This isn't required, but you can look at the Java doc for that if you're interested in that. So what does that mean to us? Java 8 and Lambdas plus Spring ends up being quite a nice natural fit. Beauty of simplicity. We're lucky because many Spring APIs are automatically candidates for use in Lambda as Lambda functions. And that happens